Alright, time to wrap up this iceberg. What's going on, everybody? Caleb here again, concluding the Backrooms Entity Iceberg, concluding with Class 7 entities. These fellas are the creme de la creme of backroom entities. Most of these are equivalent to gods. Most of these are going to have a very long article. And I recommend you look up most of these on your own because I'm probably not going to read the article word for word. Alright, we're going to kick this off with the Beast of Level 5. I don't believe I talked about him in my Backrooms Levels Iceberg, but if I did, bear with me for a second here. The Beast of Level 5 is an entity that inhabits Level 5. It's a tall creature with a human body and the head of a cephalopod. It is believed to be hostile with camouflage ability similar to a cuttlefish. The Beast of Level 5 is something only mentioned by those who have lost all sanity while trapped on Level 5. It appears to be hostile but is not shown to attack on sight, instead slowly toying with its victims until they have an existential crisis. Then seemingly always die before the day is done. It has been described as tall, scaly creature wearing a suit and tie, as well as having a humanoid body with the head of a cephalopod. This? People believe that the Beast of Level 5 uses the 5th floor as a web of sorts, carefully filling it with furniture and items to make it easy for him to camouflage and stalk his prey. This is evident in the amount of items on this floor that almost look like they have eyes. These include numerous statues, paintings, busts, carpet, and even wallpaper patterns. Now, I must stress the most dangerous aspect of this entity is the fact that if he eats you, he will send you to level 666. And since I know everybody in the world has seen my Backrooms Levels Iceberg, we all know that level 666 is the one level you really don't want to end up on, man. Unfortunate Souls. Now, these guys are, I believe, Class S, which isn't Class 7, but I stuck them down here because I thought they were pretty damn scary and dangerous. These guys cannot physically harm you. They typically hide in the dark. You'll probably never see one. What they can do is they talk to you and convince you to commit that S word, the one where you stop exploring the back rooms and stop exploring anything. That one, yeah. They convince you to do that, and if you don't want to do that, then they proceed to insult you, belittle you, and make you just feel terrible about yourself. Now, this bodacious bovine is an unfortunate angel, and they are the most dangerous of the unfortunate souls. Because what she can do is she screams loudly when least expected, causing the area around you to collapse as long as you're in level 955, which is their main habitat. And if the collapsing doesn't kill you, you're going to have a heart attack. So yeah. I mean, personally, any of these entities, if I heard them, I'd probably have a heart attack, so I don't know how much the screaming is going to help her in that regard. The Producers. The Producers are rumored to be the following: god-like entities of chaos, unspeakable eldritch horrors, another higher being in the backrooms that enjoys human suffering. They do not exist, and they were made up to create more confusion, or draw your own conclusion, as human perception is necessary in the behavioral suite. Their true appearance is unknown. There are speculations they can shapeshift into other entities and humans. There are claims they address explorers or other intelligent entities as disembodied voices. It is rumored to be a total of 5 of them, but there may be more, as they can pose as anyone or any entity. Below are several fires describing the rumored 5. Since these guys can apparently shapeshift, or nobody knows what they really look like, I'm going to go ahead and skip the forms they appear as. The personality and behaviors of A. He is best described as a hard to impress person. He bores easily. He is impatient and will verbalize anyone speaking to him to get to the point. He finds humans strange and simple-minded creatures. He is intrigued by the humans' desire to put themselves in harm's way For the sake of the adrenaline rush, he knows how the human lifespan is short, so why take the risk? His attack methods: he is passive, he knows injury, age, and your stupidity. It's impossible to avoid him because he can take the shape of anyone, and most forms he takes are usually of older men or individuals in leadership roles. You should also be wary of the individuals listed above. His real name is something I can't pronounce, not even going to try. Humans are a disease and blight to their own kind and their own world. They have infested every corner of the front rooms and now wish to infiltrate this reality. They will be consumed by this nightmare like one consumed by the Red Death. Producer T is presumed to be second in command. Producer T is best described as stoic, informative, and a prick. If you're on a level and you feel that someone is watching you, it might be your imagination, a stalking entity, or Mr. T. That's what I'm going to call him now, because I love Mr. T. They find humans worse than any disease. They are intrigued by how similar humans are to a virus. If Mr. T comes at you, they're usually passive. They know evolution will not always be in favor of humans. It is impossible to avoid them because they can take the shape of anyone, and most forms they take are usually middle-aged men or individuals in advisory roles. T does have a strong disdain for human life and will take the form of a hostile entity to attack explorers. T prefers the form of a smiler. It is not known why. If you are being attacked by a smiler that is not being deterred, that might be Mr. T. He cannot be harmed, injured, or killed, so it's better to just run. And you should be wary of his forms. His real name is something I can't say. He states humans are amusing. They take pause to attempt to study, understand, and destroy any outside threats, but turn on each other in a heartbeat. Why concern yourselves with us when you are in more danger by your own stupidity? Producer G. Sorry. He's presumed to be the third in command. Rumor suggests that she does take a physical form. She usually appears as a young woman of Indian descent, explorer, another woman who's a Meg operative, or a female hound. I don't know how the hell you would tell the difference between a male and a female hound when you're shitting yourself because you just saw a hound, but whatever. She is best described as direct and indifferent. She believes human life is expendable. She silently enjoys watching humans betray, manipulate, deceive, and conflict each other. She does not understand human bonds. To her, human bonds are only formed out of convenience, and they are so easily broken. She is a passive, aggressive in her human form, but an aggressive entity. She enjoys drawing humans into conflict. She loves the chaos that drives humans apart. Sometimes she does not have anything to do with it. She just likes to watch. It's impossible to avoid her because she can take the shape of anyone. I'm assuming all of them can do this. Most of the forms she takes are young women. If you're being attacked by a hound that is not deterred, then it might be G. There are some rumors that she has contributed to the existence of the glitch goddess, or she is the glitch goddess, and she or the glitch goddess are sisters. I doubt she is the glitch goddess. She's probably aware of them. I doubt they're friends. The glitch goddess is one further down on this tier, and she's I feel like she kind of does her own thing. Producer Y. Producer Y is another female. She's best described as bubbly, bitchy, a low-key flirt. She pities humans. She really does. She couldn't care less. She believes in divide and conquer. She finds it ironic that humans insist they are sociable. She laughs when she hears humans say they need each other. In the same breath, they will abuse, bully, and ostracize someone else because of some trivial difference. She giggles in the delight that knowing humans harbor a superior complex and need to put others down to lift themselves up. To her, humans are self-serving. She is manipulative and hard to avoid. She takes the form of attractive beings or inviting and friendly entities. She's usually the one who extends the offer of a lifetime. Everyone else just backs up. You will get your wish, but you will regret it or go insane. I actually can't say this name. It's Null. She says you creatures cannot stand going without. You creatures will sell your soul if it gets you ahead. And finally, Producer S. He is best described as critical, pessimistic. He somehow knows all of your imperfections. He will point out your flaws to you, criticize every little mistake. It is also believed that he can implant false memories of your other faults and failures. He preys on humans with self-esteem and self-confidence issues. He preys on humans who believe they are God's gift to the world. He preys on the human's desire for instant gratification. He is passive-aggressive and hard to avoid. He enjoys watching humans break down due to hunger, thirst, loneliness, sleep deprivation, lack of safety, and lack of security. If you need it, do not have, and are suffering because of it, he is somewhere taking delight in your pain. He usually takes the form of some young man with money, authority, or power. The discovery of the producers, they were rumored to exist after the creation of Negative 511. Do not trust them and accept nothing from them. These beings never suggested they were gods. These deceiving beings never claimed they created the Backrooms. They will insist that they are recruiting humans to contribute to this nightmare, and in defeating them to do so, it cannot be confirmed why. My personal opinion is they are working for some other entity here on Tier 7. A parent. That 7 is not the parent. That's just a label for Class 7 entities. Since I'm sure a lot of these aren't going to have pictures, I'm going to start putting that down there instead. The parent's kind of a weird one to just read off the wiki, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit it up with this description at the bottom. Do not trust it. This entity tries to trick a wonder into being its newest child, quote unquote, until they have put all of their safety in this entity. After that, they will not hesitate to consume their child. Apart from the parent's goals, there have been many unique myths about it. One of the most looked into being that this entity gave birth to any regular entity in the back rooms. A small account of this, and of course the entity's own words, have backed this up. So, very powerful entity that basically tries to be your friend and then eats your ass. There is no description to what it looks like. So I don't make friends, bro. Like, just don't make friends with anybody unless you know the dude. Like, you went to the back rooms together. Don't make friends with him. And even if you do know him, like, I still would be hesitant because, like, you guys could get separated. Some entity could be posing. You just depend on yourself. Okay, moving on. The Storyteller. The Storyteller is a psychic entity that is able to manipulate memory and information. It is a master of illusion, possessing countless anomalous capabilities. Its primary power is the ability to rewrite or manipulate reality to a limited degree. This is mainly done through the media of the library and its books. The librarians have mentioned the abilities of the Storyteller in multiple accounts, describing them as the power to bring fiction to reality and manipulate knowledge, memory, and perception. Initially, it was believed that it has the power to brainwash its victims, but it appears that the creature is able to bend information itself. The physical world can be compared to digital data, with the Storyteller editing its code, thus rearranging its order. There's currently no evidence that the Storyteller truly exists. There are no surviving records of this entity. The librarians imply that it merely appeared. Due to the possibility of the entity manipulating every information that we have gathered, then there's almost no credible source regarding the Storyteller, as everything that we knew could be wrong, and everything that we believed might be fiction. However, if everything that we learned was true, then the Storyteller is one of the most powerful entities in the back rooms. There's even a theory that the Storyteller has control over some of the other levels, albeit much more limited than its own level. Due to this, we should start reconsidering everything we know about the back rooms. This gets pretty complex as it goes back and forth between whether this entity exists or doesn't exist, due to this entity manipulating the entry about itself. That being said, I'll let you finish reading this one for yourself, as it's just going to get more and more confusing with me reading it like this. The Gardener. The Gardener is a boss entity that reigned over the land of predators. She is known by many names, including Mother Green and the Verdant Queen, implying connection with the Verdant King and the Verdant Children, although there is no concrete evidence to confirm this theory. The existence and identity of the Gardener has been a debate across the community for some time. Unlike the Storyteller that is incomprehensible, the Gardener has actually revealed itself to many wanderers, but there are conflicting accounts regarding her appearance, personality, and capabilities. The most popular depiction of the Gardener is she is a goddess of nature similar to elves and fairies. She has also appeared in non-human forms, usually as animals or mystical creatures. Overall, the Gardener has best been described as a spirit of nature rather than an individual. She's more like an intangible force that flows through the earth and every living thing that is born into the land and thus connected to all of them. The Gardener seems to be the representation and manifestation of Mother Nature, which means her actions is the will of nature itself. Most believe that the Gardener is not only a force of nature, but a caretaker of the living, much like a goddess would be. Unlike most entities in the Backrooms, the Gardener is mostly seen as benevolent, gentle, caring, and loving. There are many accounts of her saving the lives of wanderers and other life forms on the level, which has earned her quite the following. The Verdant Church is one of her biggest followings, seconded only by Monkhood of Mountains that coexist in rivalry due to their clashing beliefs, despite the fact that they worship the same entity. Despite how many view her as a goddess, there are many signs that the Gardener is not a harmless entity. If she is truly the one who maintained her level, then she is responsible for countless monsters preying on the weak and horrible diseases that killed many or even caused fate worse than death. This aligns with the belief that nature is not always kind, as natural disasters have caused countless destruction throughout the world. There is another theory that she is not the force of nature, but simply an independent individual with her own personality and preference. Most likely she is playing the role of Mother Nature, trying to fool people to get a cult following, which she already has. As far as what she's capable of, there's little to no confirmed information about her capabilities, especially considering the fact that we cannot even determine her appearance, let alone her physical property. Nevertheless, there are many interesting notes regarding the Gardener, collected from both evidences and beliefs from her followers. According to sources, she is able to control nature in general, from ecosystems to weather. Most translate this to elemental abilities, but some consider it a spiritual power instead. Both theories could be true, considering that she's strongly tied to not only the land, but also the living within the land. It's possible that she could manipulate not only living beings, but anything with semblance of life force, such as spirits. This goes on to talk about several different theories about this entity, as well as her relationships to other entities. If you ask me, it's more than likely that it is a low-level entity that has some nature manipulating abilities, that is posing as Mother Nature, and it is fooling everybody into thinking it is more powerful. And it has attained several cult followings, keeping it safe in the back rooms. Moving on. Tris. I think I said that right. So, entities that are class 7 get very complex and intricate, and a lot of them mess with their own information, so things are going to start getting kind of confusing from here on out. I'll probably do a little bit less reading and a little bit more summarizing, just the best way I can. I suggest looking these up for yourself, because I will not be able to summarize these just. Symmetris is suspected to be the daughter of the glitched goddess. She is an entity that wants to find out more about herself. Supposedly harmless. The only ability she has mastered for certain is teleportation. And she has many telekinetic powers as well. She is able to lift extremely heavy objects with her mind, as well as communicating with others. She is unable to control how far things go. However, this is merely a result of her inexperience. Apparently, she has interest in a very dangerous object that is not specified what it is. because her power isn't very strong at this point. If the theory that the glitch goddess is her mother, then she most likely wants to get out of the back rooms and into the front rooms at all costs. And yeah, that's pretty much the best summary I can give you on this one. Like I said before, you're probably going to want to look up a lot of these for yourselves to get a better understanding of them. Game creators. The game creators are entities that are rarely seen on their own level. Instead, they will be seen on other levels, and their goal is to get you to their level, which is the arcade game level, which is a very complex level in and of itself. That's pretty much it for these guys. There's not too much that's said about them. After this, it's pretty much describes their relationships with the other entities, which is really not that interesting. I would assume if these guys were on their level that they would be akin to godlike entities of some sort, and that is why they are class 7. But yeah, moving on. Star Creator. Remember when I talked about difficult entities to summarize before? This is one of them. Among the threshold of reality known as the Backrooms is a highly agile mythical being labeled as the Star Creator, greatly acknowledged due to his divine cosmic influence and his supposed relation to celestial bodies itself. The Star Creator is extraordinarily in governing his dexterity, strength, expertise, as well as many other combating abilities, allowing him to be a tough opponent in comparison to most entities. He is considerably more vigorous, slaying thousands of entities that even dare challenge him and opposing a major threat to other godlike entities. Wanderers within his presence must be guarded as much as possible, so making wanderers believe he is a savior. On the contrary, many entities despise him, so making him a large-scale threat to most entities. Despite this, most entities panic when viewed by him. He is easily recognizable by thick purple fog surrounding him in a 1 kilometer radius. One exception is a black hole-like ring. Wanderers can identify this ring extends for 18.44 meters from him, whilst being 1 meter in width. Star Creator is occasionally located at treacherous levels to ensure wanderers' safety, leading them to more secure levels found within the back rooms. There have been numerous proclaimed supposed several instances of this entity, but none have ever been proven factual or truthful. In fact, the entity itself claims to be the only remaining one of its kind. Star Creator is thought to have a physical appearance rather than elastic-like texture that withstands any traditional way of causing casualties, in some way being sculpted as a humanoid being. It is hypothesized that this entity has something beneath whatever the Star Creator is made of that controls it. As far as his attacks, in his main attack he creates miniature dwarfs, which he throws at entities, which usually kills it due to its heat. Dwarf stars, not dwarfs from Lord of the Rings. He has reality warping attacks. It is also designed to make the level look extremely weird, thus confusing the enemy and offering an easy target, but also slowing down time for everyone except for him. Some entities can deny it while making them fast in the process. His other attack is a supernova-like explosion that blinds any entity within 200 light years, while causing chaos on levels with low sustainability and destroying nearby entities there. There are many attacks he uses, but they can only be explained by wanderers who have seen them. The most advanced is a mass comprehension, basically the creation of a black hole. He compresses so much mass that it forms a black hole. He does this only in his fighting form and usually breaks his opponent's backroom reality rules so much that he either runs away from him or dies. There's also other methods he uses, but they can't be explained by wanderers. Let me give you a hint. All my attacks originate from the universe. Perhaps some aren't. According to the Star Creator himself, he is capable of negating the Storyteller's rewrite of reality. He is also capable of creating stars when a supernova happens. According to Meg, this entity can shift between forms in a nanosecond, meaning he can change his entire appearance when on danger without having problems putting up new armor for a battle. Another article made by Meg is that he can change reality even by sending one wanderer to the start of the universe. He apologized later as he didn't mean to do that. Star Creator can also destroy any molecule at any given moment. He can harvest the power of the Guardian Sword, but he doesn't do that for obvious reasons. He also has shown hate towards Killstreak Kim, as he thinks that using Wanderers as a puppet for his game is truly disgusting, but he never tries to stop Killstreak Kim's game show as he does not seem to have access to level -511. There's a lot more to this, everyone. It talks about his relationships with other entities, and then it goes on what looks like a conversation. I'll go ahead and let you guys look into that if you wish. So far, I would say this is the most powerful entity of the Backrooms. Schrodinger's cat. This is a difficult one to summarize and kind of a weird one. I'm assuming it's a cat. The article talks about it in the third person. It says it's capable of reality warping and it likes to explore. I'm assuming it goes to other levels at will. And if it wanted to kill you, it would have done so already. It is said that if it gets into a fight, it will not hesitate to hold back. It then goes to talk about its relationships with other entities, including Schrodinger itself. Schrodinger, this is another weird and difficult one to talk about and summarize. That picture is the real Schrodinger. The entity claims to look like that. And no, I don't know who the real Schrodinger is, or what he did, sorry. This entity is basically a step above his cat. He is capable of reality bending. He says he can blink people out of existence if he so chooses to. And he basically is capable of doing whatever he wants. Now, the interesting part about this entity is he talks about other entities, partygoers. I blipped them out of existence if it didn't cost me 1,000 years. Zalgo, no. Smilers, nobody cares about Smilers. They're lame. The glitched goddess, aka her. Can we just kill her forever? I'd do it, but my powers aren't strong enough. That's interesting. The Storyteller, their pants should be on fire because they're a liar. Mortis, Abel's son, who we'll talk about later, he claims to be death itself and only speaks in rhymes. Sounds pretty edgy to me. I know he's death, but don't brag about it. Schrodinger also goes on to talk about Symmetris, saying she needs to master her powers more. Schrodinger does not mention Star Creator, which still leads me to believe that Star Creator is the most powerful entity, but Schrodinger is pretty high up there. Obviously, as just stated, he is below the glitched goddess. The glitched goddess, otherwise known as her. The glitched goddess was supposedly the first ever wanderer to walk the face of the Backrooms. She has been doing this long before even humanity advanced into modern civilizations. Her real name is Angelica Merkel Evans, however we do not speak of it as it attracts her like metal going face first at a magnet. Her body is very human in appearance. This may be because she was once human at one point in time or another, but we can't be so sure. She has many cults, shrines, monuments, statues, historical artifacts, events, and even historical locations all hidden throughout the Backrooms. Nobody knows where such items can be found, if they are related to her backstory in any way, shape, or form. She is supposedly corrupted being who seeks nothing but vengeance, and nobody knows as to why. All she wants is to go into the front rooms. We have no idea as to why she wants out so badly or what she will do if she ever gets out. We have no idea how powerful she truly is or how she got her power, how much destruction she can actually cause. While she does have a physical form, it is heavily distorted, and because of this distortion, it is unknown if she could be hurt via any physical means. Now, like other godlike entities in the Backrooms, she has relationships and opinions on other entities. None of them are very interesting, except for the Star Creator one. Each have their own view. She sees the Star Creator as something of the devil's creation, while the Star Creator sees her as a corrupt and vengeful spirit roaming aimlessly, causing mass destruction while she has the chance. So that tells me that the Star Creator is probably still more powerful than the glitched goddess. Or maybe they are equal in power, it's really difficult to say. Feel free to look at these articles for yourselves once again, and let's be moving on. The Keymaster. The Keymaster is a mysterious and powerful godlike entity, capable of accessing the entirety of the Backrooms at his own whims. He is known to help lost or trapped wanderers, assisting them in escaping levels that they are trapped in. Superficially, the Keymaster appears like a normal human and, from a distance, may even be mistaken for a wanderer at first. He wears a Victorian-era black leather trench coat that obscures everything up to his neck. With little of his skin that is visible is pale, and his eye color is teal. He has long, unkempt black hair, with a wiry composition and light facial hair. The most prominent trademark of his appearance is a large ring of traditional metal keys, not unlike those found in the front rooms, attached to his right hip. What purpose the keys on the ring serve is unknown, but speculation abounds. That is an illustration of what he looks like. The Keymaster is capable of accessing every level via his keys, I'm assuming. He cannot be destroyed by any conventional means. If he has died, which he has in front of wanderers many times, he simply reappears on another level. And he is capable of unlocking deeper things than just levels, such as memories and one's true power. While a strong entity, I do not believe he is as strong as the ones we have touched on earlier in this video. Let's be moving on. Unbelonging Traveler. This entity is relatively easy to summarize. He is an incredibly powerful entity. At his strongest, he is capable of surviving nukes and going at speeds of Mach 80, I believe. I goofed up. At his strongest, he is only a class 6 and not a class 7, so you'll have to forgive me on that. And really, he's not too interesting. He honestly reminds me of an anime character that's really powerful. Let's be moving on. Hubris, or Hubris, whatever you want to call him, is another difficult one to summarize. He is an immortal, enigmatic entity that's more or less a king. He spends most of his time on his throne overseeing his kingdom, I guess. His abilities are not stated. His behavior is stated briefly. He does not seem hostile towards wanderers too often, but he can be. There are several tales regarding this entity, and I honestly recommend you just look at this one for yourself, because it's kind of hard to understand with me just talking about it here, and I'm sure the tales shed much more light on him. Moving on. The Dark Sovereign. The Dark Sovereign, or simply the Sovereign, is a large mysterious entity who has rarely been seen by wanderers. Those who have encountered Sovereign have gathered vital information which can be placed in the appropriate sections below. The Sovereign is a 15-foot tall creature made of black onyx crystals which absorb certain levels of light and do not reflect any imagery. He adorns a suit of armor made of an unknown metal, which is upkept in perfect condition. A large cape flows across his back, touching and dragging slightly on the ground behind him. Despite his appearance, the Dark Sovereign is naturally benevolent, being welcoming and forthcoming to many wanderers who encounter him. He will ask how they are, how their days are going, if they are in good health, if they need any help, or in desperate situations he will protect wanderers from hostile forces. He sees humans as interesting and has encountered few who I have gotten close to. I wish to protect him. But if you piss him off, he will not be nice to you. If you attack him accidentally as in a panic state, he will retaliate. So he must not be that smart if he's not smart enough to see that you're in a panic state. There's not too much more to say about him, really. He's got some relationships, but none of them are very interesting. He acknowledges several of the other beings I've talked about on this list as being powerful. And all in all, I just don't like him. Something about him. I don't like this guy, man. It's probably that cartoony image of him right there. Okay, let's move on. The mother of all fear. The mother of all fear is an entity which is located on levels where sanity is lost. Once maintaining contact with the entity, human emotions start to fade away, and somehow victims fall into insanity. After too long of exposure with the entity, the mother of fear is quite difficult to avoid, as she has the ability to control her victim's mind to lure them to her. One can avoid her by consuming almond water, which shall allow one to regain their sanity, making it harder for the entity to control them. The mother has the ability to bring one to the I can't pronounce that. Although this requires such anomalous items such as liquid pain, pipe water, etc. No one has been documented to have been brought to that place, and one shall never be afraid of this entity, as fear shall power this entity, resulting in a faster decrease of sanity. The mother will kill any who is to attack her, so it is not advised to do harm in any form to this entity. The mother often lures one into her presence by creating voices in one's mind, which leads one into her range. She uses this encounter to kill them. It is currently unknown how to kill the mother of all fear. The mother of all fear can be described as a tall, approximately 6'1", dark entity, which appears to have wings and runs at human speeds. The mother of fear is often mistaken by it from level 2. One is able to use super almond water to scare away this entity, as this causes harm to the entity. Interesting. So she's kind of like the embodiment of fear, I guess you would say. I would say she's the embodiment of death, but this next entity is the embodiment of death. Mortis Death Abelson. This entity is Death in the Backrooms. I'm not going to go into him too much. His article is extremely long, and it includes some of his origin, his different forms, his appearance, what he is capable of, etc. I will simply take some statistics from one of his most powerful forms, so you have a brief understanding. His physical capacity: the entity can easily destroy concrete and steel constructs as if it were destroying a sandcastle. His mental capacity: the entity can mentally harm, scar wanderers, and is immune to most mental attacks caused by wanderers or other entities. Its physical state is intangible. The entity can phase through any objects when it's in this form. Its intelligence is 5 to 6 IQ, beyond standard or maximum human IQ. The speeds can go from 200 to 230 miles per hour. This entity is as fast as a motorcycle in this form. Its shape: a hooded figure wielding a scythe while manifesting smiling symbols around it. Theories state that when you come into contact with the floating symbols, it may have a chance to drive you insane. Now, we have talked about a lot of powerful entities on this iceberg and on this layer, but I do believe this next entity or entities are the strongest in the Backrooms. Sadly, with that being said, this is a extremely lengthy article with a lot of hidden information that you have to access. It starts out saying you have been assigned to Project Wudan, whatever that is. I haven't looked through this article completely. All other gods are nothing before this entity. They are existence itself. Born fruit, it is only just to bow before these mighty divinities. The children of the Empyrean Sea, or the children, most common names for the near extinct race of nigh immortal beings who were birthed along with the universe, the front rooms itself. Legends from the records of long extinct, extremely ancient civilizations testified to this fact almost universally, even before the Dawn Wars began. The race themselves claimed to have been born within a higher dimensional space, named the Empyrean Sea, and were compelled to enter the front rooms from birth. It is unknown how much of this statement is true and how much is a fabrication of the children themselves, so the validity of this claim is questionable at best. They have been characterized as beings of truly immense power. They're near godlike poise, surpassing nearly anything that has ever existed within the bounds of our cosmos. Look up this one for yourself. There's so much to this. I believe they are stronger than the star creator. I almost said the card creator for some reason. I believe they're stronger than the star creator. He may even be a fallen one of their kind. It is unknown. It then goes on to talk about known members of this race. Here's some photographs of them. Most of them deceased. And I haven't even made it to the bottom of this entry in the Backrooms wiki yet. So yeah, you should definitely look at this one for yourself. I know I'm going to spend some time reading this one. And yeah. A lot of really cool stuff in the Backrooms. I'm very impressed with the writers. I'm very impressed with the community. I'm impressed at how quickly it grew, how scary, how clever they are with their writing. They're doing a really great job. Mad props to them. You guys keep up the good work. I'm always impressed by good horror. If you guys were impressed with this video, there's this little button down there, the one with the 0 next to it. Yeah, if you hit that, that 0 changes to a 1, and that tells me that I did a good job on this video. And if you really like the video today, you can hit this red button down below, says subscribe. It shows you everything we drop right as we drop it all the time. You'll never miss anything if you hit that red subscribe button. Or don't. That's cool too. Anyways, everyone, that is the Backrooms Entity Iceberg. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and have a great day.